Okay, welcome everybody to the very first Q&A. I've got Matthew Savage and Cole Price joining me to go through some questions that I got on an Instagram poll. And I think it's always good to just get multiple opinions instead of the one, because everybody's going to have a different take. We're going to spend about 45 minutes going through this, and we're going to get through as many questions as we can. And we're just going to jump straight into them. So question one. Is it feasible to work remotely as a concept artist working for film? Cole, do you want to go first?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is my 14th year doing it as remote. So I mean, yeah, I just work remote permanently now, and it's the best thing I've ever done. So yeah, that's my answer. Yeah, very
Matt?
very feasible.
Um, yeah, it absolutely is because we all do. I think the job changes depending on where you are. Like if I feel because I've sort of split my career half from home. Uh, the first half at the studio, the second half from home after I had kids. And I guess the difference is when you're at the studio, you're part of the team and you are a filmmaker. And I feel when you're at home, you're a hired gun, and both have advantages and disadvantages. Like you absolutely can, but I think you lose something and you gain something from both sides.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, so I've pretty much only worked remotely as well. My first ever gig was in studio, and that was only 2 weeks. I've only worked in studio, yeah, for a total of 2 weeks in my career. But you're right. Like, I think there's pros and cons, and like I've seen on jobs that I've been on, they've asked me, can you come up for a couple of weeks and just be in studio so that you can just get everybody together and workshop things and kind of get a team dynamic happening. But yeah, to answer that question, I guess for whoever did ask this question, I can't remember, but yeah, it's absolutely feasible. You can make a whole career out of it.
And I think as well, it's changed, especially since COVID. It's changed dramatically. Whereas I know from my point of view, I've had it a few times where they've asked me to, maybe go down to Pinewood or whatever. But I think since then, most of the shows that I've worked on now have all been like, yeah, we work remote. Even VFX houses, it's like, yeah, we're all remote now. And so I think definitely since COVID, that's really ramped up.
I'm
Really
glad you
ramped up.
you brought that up because I feel like I owe my career to COVID because before that I couldn't. I was trying to break in, and like I don't know if it's a combination of my work not being good enough or whatever it is, but it was the perfect storm because that music video that I worked on that kind of gave me the gateway into freelancing, that was a product of COVID. They couldn't get anybody in studio, so they decided to do a completely animated music video, and then they just started looking remotely for people like wherever they were. So yeah, you're right, it has completely changed. Cool, we'll jump on to the next question. So have you ever been at a point in your journey and you just feel stuck? Matt, do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, about 4 weeks ago. It's like it's like that. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the first year you feel like that. The second year you feel like that. You get the job, and you think you're made, and you think that job's going to lead on to the next one, and then you hit that kind of feeling again. It's just a case of feeling or being able to feel comfortable when you're uncomfortable because I don't think it goes away. I mean, the industry is changing so quickly now. We all have that kind of angst, but I think the most important thing is that is a completely natural and ongoing emotional debate you're going to have with yourself until you retire.
Cole?
Every day. literally every day. Everything Matt's just said, but literally every day. It's like, is this going to be my last day? Am I going to get another job? Yeah, it's like Matt said, you learn to live with that uncomfortable beautiful moment of stress. Yeah, I think we all do. To be honest, I think we all have that feeling.
Yeah, it comes with, I think, this job. Like, it's just, that's what it is. Like, if you're going to want to do it, like, you got to expect to always be uncomfortable. Like you said, Matt, you're going to feel like you're on top of the world working on a big production, and then you just could be ghosted for 6 months and you just chew through your money. And it's just going to always be like that. Like, I don't think anything's going to change.
I think when you're younger and you're on a good job, you think it's going to last forever. You know, we're all, however many years into our career, I think we all understand that lovely feeling, like we know it's you know, it's not a true sort of feeling for how the industry is going to be. So I think we all, the three of us, kind of like to stress to younger people that that's a completely natural feeling, and you just kind of get used to, you develop coping mechanisms for that kind of stress. Yeah,
and I think maybe like another way to look at this question as well is like, if you feel stuck, like maybe the person that was writing this, like maybe it's about, I don't know, they feel like they're not progressing, or maybe they're trying to get a job. Like, do you have any thoughts on that, either of you guys, if you look at it from that point of view?
I think for me, that's why I do stuff every day, you know, and I'll refer back to that podcast we did, Nick. You know, you just keep working and working and working, and that, I find that helps me massively, you know, because when you're doing stuff, you're actively doing work to promote yourself, to get better skills, you know, and it prepares you. So, yeah.
I couldn't agree with that more, Cole. And I think, I don't know if you two did this, but before I worked professionally, I thought, I'm going to do this for myself until someone's going to pay me to do it. And we're lucky, we enjoy what we do. So doing it in your free time it's kind of the same emotions you'd have if you were being paid. So it's one and the same.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Like, because like somebody found our stuff somewhere at some point, and it changed the trajectory of our career. And that's the way you got to look at it. Like, we've talked about it, both of us, in the past. Like, we do it because we love it. And if you can make a job out of it and somebody gets in touch with you, then great. Cool. Let's keep moving. All right. What do we got next? When do you know your skill level is good enough for the job opportunity? Cole.
Never. Never. And if you think like that, you're in deep trouble. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I think you may know it in yourself. You may think, you know what, that's actually not too bad, but that's about as far as you go. You never think you're going to be good enough. Even now, I go on jobs and I think, am I good enough to do this job? That for me never goes away.
Matt?
Mm-hmm. I think it's. People have asked me that question a few times before, and it's like, they show me their portfolio and it's like, is it good enough? It's like, of course it's good enough, because you can do something, but the level of finish isn't as important as the thought process. And you see people with what you would probably describe as lower end presentation skills, but their thought process is really good. So it's like you are never good enough, but you're almost good enough from day one. Like, you should just crack on whatever your skill level is. You should start applying for jobs, showing sketch work. But it's always, like Cole said, when we all joined Alien Romulus, we all looked at everyone else's work. We looked at Josh and Alex, and I looked at your guys' work, and every one of us thought, I'm out of my league here. Yeah. Which is, it's really nice that we all thought that, and we all said that to each other. So, like, you're never good enough, but you're good enough from day one, because you have to start at some point.
Yeah. And it comes back to your mindset and your attitude as well, because if I'm being completely transparent, so I started on this film a week and a half ago, and as you two know, I had to design a spaceship. I just don't do that stuff normally. And I had a mental breakdown the first day. I was losing it. My partner had to keep me in line and keep me like with some confidence, because I was just telling myself, I think I have to quit. I can't do this, because it just seemed too hard. But like, you dig deep and you back your skills, and like your problem solving skills, and that you'll find a way. You kind of just have to have that mindset. And I think that just shows like all of us have been doing this for quite a while now, all at different amounts of time, but we all battle that almost like on every job. And I know you, Cole, you had that too with, you know, Sonic. You were telling us some of the stuff that you had to design.
There was 2 particular things I had to do, and it was my absolute nemesis both times. And it was like cold sweats, thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? And, you know, like you said, and what Matt says, you have to go through that thought process. You have to push yourself into those uncomfortable areas. I'm glad I did it, because there was times there thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get so fired because this is just not working out how I envisaged. But you take a breather, you step back, and you go, right, let's do this, you know. And it turned out, I mean, the director loved it. Yeah. So, I mean, if he's happy and the PD's happy, then fantastic, you know.
There's this weird thing where people who don't hire concept artists normally, they'll look at your work and then they'll give you a creature. You know, they'll look at your interior work and they go, well, and they assume you can do costume or you can do hair and makeup, you know. And I was on a job in the art department, and they were running down, and I think the production designer said, I'm going to put you in costume for a couple of weeks. And I like you, Nick, I thought, well, I'm going to have to quit. But then you do like 3 days of poor work, and then because you're just not used to doing whatever that other type of work is. But then after 3 or 4 days, your thought process kicks in, and you stop panicking, and you crack on with it. And it's not nice, but I think it's really healthy to do stuff outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's healthy. I know it's healthy to do that.
Yeah, you only grow. Yeah. Like I feel so good now just getting over that hurdle, and it's like you get through that challenge, and then you feel like all of a sudden you've got now this new skill set, you know, in your arsenal. And you just got to push. You got to push through that. And I think the other thing to answer that skill level good enough for the opportunity, I think, is you will know if you're good enough when the people you're applying to, somebody gets you on board or someone reaches out to you as well. Like, you need a bit of luck and a bit of timing, but at the same time too, like, you will eventually get onto something, and then that's your chance to, you know, go for it. Okay, let's go to the next question. Could you each tell us one big thing you learnt or took away from working on a film? Who wants to go first?
I'm going to hand that to Cole, because I'm going to.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
I'm going to meditate.
Do you want me to go first? Seized up.
I can go first, because we've spoken about this one on our Concept 101 talk, so it came to my mind. Romulus was the first big film that I worked on, and not being used to not having direction when people are getting super busy. Your production designer goes quiet, your director goes quiet because they're in the thick of it. And do you just wait around and do you not work, or do you actually try and make yourself useful? And, you know, I had to design, you know, the Romulus lab and the hive hallway, and I felt like I had done everything and I just hadn't heard anything. And I was like, okay, maybe let's look back at the script. Is there anything in these spaces that would be a cool moment or story moment to just do a keyframe of? And I backed myself. I did that. I did some keyframes. I sent them through, and the production designer was like, these couldn't have come through at a better time. Like, we're having a meeting about this section tomorrow. Like, these are going to be super helpful. So I think the thing that I realized and learnt from that film was to just, show initiative and don't always wait for things to come to you. That's my biggest lesson I think I've learned so far.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I've done that a few times. In fact, I actually did that on Sonic, where I was designing stuff, and I think I was into like the 3rd week, and it was just like sketches and sketches and sketches and blockouts and blockouts, and I thought, you know what, I need to show them how this is actually going to look. And I did a keyframe, and they went, that's it. Thank you so much for taking the initiative and doing that for us. And, you know, sometimes that's like I said, just taking that initiative and pushing forward.
I'd say there's this a misconception, and I think I probably had it as well with younger concept people coming into the industry, where they'll look at the art of books and see keyframes and finished work, and there's an assumption that that's what you're going to be doing for your career. But on a movie in an art department, for a production designer or a director, the work that often gets the most excitement are sketchy, notated, problem-solving images, where you because I think, especially now with AI, and it used to be key shot and kit bashing, most people can do flashy, high-end stuff. That doesn't seem to, the value of that has gone down, but thought process, sketches and problem solving, I hope the stock value is going up there. And often on a movie, I've given in just this really rudimentary, like a photo of a location. I painted green over where we're going to green screen. I blocked in where we're going to build. Like it's nothing. It wouldn't make it into the art of book. But the production designer has gone, right, you've really eased my tension over this location or this prop build or whatever. So I think we all try and post sketchy work, and it's really good for people to see that, because that actually is going to be your bread and butter work.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because that is a super important one. Like, even if I think about the film I'm working on at the moment, there's been nothing flashy at all. Like, it's been like isometric, cut the top off of this spaceship, let's look at like these volumes, the actor needs to run from here to here, there needs to be this observatory that needs to interconnect to an airlock. Like, can we figure out how these shapes go together and these pathways, floor plans, sections? Like, that's what we're spending the time on. Like, and everything's just squares and volumes inside of like this ship that we've been designing, and it's like been so useful for the director to visualize. So yeah, great point. Okay, let's move on to how to overcome the pressure of finding the perfect idea and where to find inspiration. Cole? Or Matt, feel free to jump in.
I'll go. Right, the perfect idea doesn't exist. That's kind of the thing you have to get over, and you have to do something, and you have to start. I always do some research, some mood boards, just textures, finishes, whatever I'm working on. And if I want to get 3 sketches off or 4 ideas out in the day, the first one's not going to be your best work, but you have to do it. So the perfect idea isn't there. You do one, and then you move on, and then you develop, and you do the first one just to get it out of the way. And then normally when I send the work off, the first one I did, I normally put at the bottom of the pile, because incrementally they get better through the day. So yeah, perfect idea doesn't exist. Just crack on.
Yeah, I totally agree with Matt. First ones are always absolutely abysmal. And the amount of times I've sent stuff in and gone, oh my God, I feel absolutely ashamed that I've even sent that in. But it grows and it manifests itself, and you go, actually there's a bit in sketch 2 that I like and a bit in sketch 3, let's put them together, and then all of a sudden you get on that little train and everything starts to click in, and then you start churning stuff out. And yeah, I totally agree with what Matt said then.
Yeah, and it's also like, if you're looking for a perfect idea on a film or a TV show, whatever, like, you shouldn't even be thinking like that anyway, because it's such a fast moving machine. And at the end of the day, it's a collaboration. You're going to be working with other people. They're going to be feeding you images and inspiration, and your job is to just make that work to the specific story. And if it's for yourself, I've been in that position a lot of times, and COL people can listen to our podcast because you spoke about some really good stuff about your personal work. And like you've mentioned, it's just, you just got to create. Like there's nothing wrong as well with doing stuff in your comfort zone. I think just do what you enjoy for your own stuff anyway. Like just start with there. And once you've got something in 3D or you start sketching it, like you said, it's going to manifest itself. You've got something to critique and it's going to grow, and the ideas are going to just form naturally through the process. Okay, let's go. Let's keep moving forward. What one should we do next? Ooh, this is a good one. Have you played around with AI workflow for personal or professional work? Matt, do you want to go first?
I have. I mean, we've all had a go on one of them. I can't find a way yet to get it into my workflow because I'm, at the risk of sounding arrogant, I'm okay with how I do things right now, and I think people will use it where they need to, where they can't do things. I think where I'm going to use it, where I can see it being useful for us, is when I worked in the art department. Say we're doing a set deck might give you a sofa or a chair or something they want. Can we see how this looks in the set? And you'd either, I mean, I used to photo bash it in, and then I would build it in 3D and put it into Blender. But now I think if it was a chair, I'd put it into something like Viscom, get a proxy 3D model, and stick it in the set. That saves me time. Because I don't want to be modelling sort of antique chairs that Set Deck have found. But bar that, I haven't found a way to work it in, and I'm not naive to the fact that we're simply going to have to use it. I don't want to, and I don't feel we need to. But I mean that's how I will use it when I have to.
COL?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, I tried when Midjourney first came out a couple of years back, and I tried it, and yeah, it just wasn't doing anything that I thought, well, that's going to help me. I've tried Viscom. I just find it incredibly frustrating. It doesn't do anything that I want it to do.
What you want it to do?
Yeah, and it's just I actually remember when I was using it and I thought, this is absolutely pointless, because I could go away and I could build stuff in 3D a million times quicker, or I could photo bash it a million times quicker. So, like Matt said, I'm too old to put it in my pipeline because my pipeline's sorted out and I'm pretty quick as it is. I don't think I need to get faster. I'm more productive, and that stuff just doesn't make me feel productive. It just makes me feel, it makes me feel like I'm cheating if I use it as well, because I think, no, I don't need this. It's more fun for me to create stuff from my own pipeline than using that. So, yeah, if we have,
I think if you come at something with a vision like you do, it's harder to use AI. If you come to AI without a vision and it gives you a spaceship or whatever, then that's great. But if you're being briefed and you're coming at it with what you want to do, it doesn't do that. Like you have to get in there and do it yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. Agree. It's a weird one. I mean, yeah, I've yet to work on something where it's been forced on me so far. Luckily, everyone's been like, we're not touching it, so that's been kind of nice. Maybe I'm one of the lucky ones, but yeah.
I think it also comes back to what you were both saying earlier too, that I think maybe the people that are a bit younger trying to still find their way, that we don't spend a lot of time creating the nice images at the moment anyway, and I feel like that's all that it actually probably is useful at the moment. And well, for me anyway, I haven't played around with it enough, because I've had the temptation to, for some keyframes, they're make it look like this actor. No, it needs to look like this actor. So I'll crop out the head of the 3D model and I put it into ChatGPT and I was like, make it look like this actor. and it did, and I put it on, and then I felt dirty, and I was like, nah, I got to photo bash it over. Like things like that, I can see it being useful, and like what you said, Matt, for set deck. Like you can imagine, like on a smaller budget film, you know, they design a very standard looking space, you know, like a bar or something like that, and they don't need a concept artist. And then you can imagine an art department being like just running their 3D model through and just like, you know, put this chair there, make this bar out of this wood or this timber or like this material, and like build something up like that. But yeah, if you're a problem solver, sorry, go Cole.
No, I was going to say the only one I actually found useful, and it's now you can't even get hold of it anymore, was a thing called Facepoke.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
Which was brilliant because it was so handy. Because if you've got a character or whatever, and you think, oh god, you know, you've got him in 3D, and you think, if only his head was looking at that angle,
yeah,
and you could use Facepoke and just move it up, and it could open the mouth, and it was genius, and it doesn't even exist anymore. And I was like, no, the only thing that's actually been ever useful. Because it literally saved you going back in and redoing the whole thing all over again. But yeah, I'd used that a few times, but that's about my limit, I think.
Yeah, I think we're all at the point at the moment where we understand it's, you know, coming and things are going to change, but I don't think any of us have been forced to use it, and like I just hope that we don't anyway, but we'll see what happens. Okay, let's move on. Oh, here's a joke question, and let's see if you can figure out who this was. Which art team have you been part of that is the best, and why? And who's the best creature artist?
Well, I mean, it's definitely, I'm going to say anything but Alien Romulus and anything but Dane. Yeah,
yeah, full marks. Thanks for that one, Dane.
Who is the best creature artist?
Well, we have to say Dane now, isn't it? He's the best, isn't he? Shout out to Dane.
If he sends me some money in the post, I'll say it's Dane.
Okay. What would be the best way to start networking with production designers or art directors in the film industry? Who wants to go first on that one?
I don't know, but I wish someone would tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tricky one.
I don't know anymore. Like, it's so different now. I mean, the way I did it, I literally in 2003 or 4 phoned the Pinewood switchboard. I'm not necessarily suggesting you do that, but just asked them what was going on. Some of them put you through, some of them didn't. I mean, that was before LinkedIn and Instagram. I mean, Instagram's pretty good for not every PD is on there, but you can find a few, and you just have to be friendly and pushy to a point that you're not being a dick, because then you get, obviously you get blackballed instantly, because you know that's quite frustrating. But I don't know, so, like Cole said, I don't know. The first bit of advice someone gave me about the film industry was, it's not like going to work for a bank where you get a bigger office every year, you move up the ladder, your pay goes up. You go like this, and we've all had wildly different experiences, and you kind of have to find your own way. I think you have to be polite and friendly, but part of getting into the film industry is doing it your own way, I think. Is that fair, Cole?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, Instagram's okay. I wish Twitter was like Twitter was 2016 onwards till about just before COVID. Twitter was amazing because you could literally have conversations with directors and writers and PDs, and that was really nice, because you got to the point where it wasn't you being pushy, you were just having conversations with people, and from those conversations things would happen. Whereas stalking someone on Instagram, you know, it's how the hell do you approach them? And yeah, there's always that awkward moment of, should I do this or should I send this email? And yeah, I don't think there's any hard and fast answer to that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
The industry's tough to get in anyway. That's just another level to compound you.
Yeah, because you got to be A, have the skill set, and B, you need a bit of luck and timing. You need projects to be at the right time for people to start crewing. And I think too, like, you got to just try different methods. Like, I think A is get your work out there as much as you can in the hope that somebody will find it. And then B is, try to connect with like-minded artists. You never know who, you might click with or form a friendship with. And, if they like your work, they might refer you for a job that they can't take on. And then all of a sudden you're in an art department. You might follow a production designer that you really like their work. And the hope, I think, there is you hope that they follow you back or look at your work and actually then reach out to you for the right job. You just got to connect with people on LinkedIn, on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Yeah, like you said, Matt, not being pushy and messaging them and hounding them. You kind of just need like a little bit of luck or hope that they'll look at your stuff. Like, that happened with me several times where I've just connected with someone on a social media channel and, someone's looked at my work and I've even messaged them and you get ghosted, but then a year down the track, they're like, hey, are you available? And they remembered your work. So you just don't know where it's going to come from. So yeah.
I think you mentioned production designers and supervising art directors who are really important, but equally we can work for set decorators and we can work for prop masters. We can work in VFX. So you do have to look left and right of the kind of the big people you'd like to work for, because you could end up working for set deck doing computer panels and props, do all kinds of fun work. So you have to kind of know the different job titles within the film industry and get to know those people as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think expand your network, and if you're younger and you're trying to find your foot in the industry, I think what you just said, Matt, is become familiar with almost like the vocabulary and the different departments and, study on that and start connecting with those people. Okay. Let's see what we've got next. This is a funny one. What made you stick to sci-fi and how was the journey to that decision? I don't think we've all stuck to sci-fi, but it's like I guess maybe I'll go first on this one. Is I didn't really stick to sci-fi, but I stuck to what I loved doing, which was architecture, and more specifically, like you were saying earlier, I did it because I loved it, and I just hoped that one day someone would see my work and hire me for something that I just loved doing, and that's basically how I formed my career: brutalism, architecture, sci-fi. People started reaching out, but since then I've done a whole array of things, from war stuff to now spaceships and architecture or props or like whatever it is. So you kind of grow over time. So my answer, I think, is do what you love doing first. That's the first part of the process.
Definitely because most of my sci-fi stuff is personal work. It's very rare that I actually land a gig that's sci-fi. If I look back on some of the stuff I've worked on, everything from, World War II to, I even did a couple of years on and off there for the Ramayana, which is a big Indian epic. And so, the sci-fi stuff is just basically personal work. It's great if you can get on something like that, like we did with Romulus and Per Astra Ad Astra, which is great fun, because then you get to just go, it's zoomy time, because it's like you're in your comfort zone. But
Matt?
Exactly the same. I've been quite lucky with sci-fi things because we have had sort of 10 years of lots of sci-fi, of varying quality. But like you two, my CV is actually all over the place. I used to do things like I did Prince of Persia, which is obviously period. I've done lots of contemporary things like Kick-Ass. I kind of forget the things I work on, but like you two, I do. Sci-fi is my first love, and I thought I'll do those jobs for the money, and then I'll do my sci-fi stuff, and then eventually, you get sci-fi gigs. So, and none of us can be locked into any genre, because if you do, you're going to get one movie every 4 years. Like Cole did that. Was it Masters of the Air? The Second World War aviation thing. You have, in your portfolio, you have to have a bit of sci-fi, a bit of period, a bit of fantasy, a bit of contemporary. Contemporary is really good. Just doing like the production designer and the location manager would go to an empty warehouse, and they'll say, right, we've got this. We need to turn it into high-end office MI5, cubicles. It's the same thought process, and it's all. I've done sci-fi for a couple of years now. I'd quite like to go and do. I'd be quite happy doing contemporary architecture for a year.
I kind of like doing that stuff. It's nice. It's a nice. I mean, I know when I was doing Apes, and we were exploring stuff, and then they came back and went, "Here's the location," and it was a multi-story car park in Australia, and they went, "Right, now I want you to go away and make this secret lab where all the weapons are stored and so forth." And that's just great, because it's like, it's completely different to what you usually get to do. It's really nice. But I would love to work on, I love working on anything anyway. I always say that. But I'd love to work on something like you did there with Prince of Persia. That must have been a riot. Great. That's brilliant stuff to work on.
That was all sort of big scimitars and swords and things like that. I wasn't in the. I didn't do any architectural stuff, but doing architectural work on that would be a joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just important too, to just, like we've spoken about in both of our podcasts, is testing yourself in different genres as well. When you get sick of doing the same thing, don't be afraid to try other things, because once you get in, like, you're going to get, and you do a good job on one film, someone's going to ask you to come on their Vietnam War film. And then, a few months later, then you're going to be in the year 2049. So it's just good to test. But just do what you love to do at the start if you're stuck. Is Alien Romulus 2 happening?
You tell me.
We all don't know.
No, not a clue.
No.
Not a clue.
I did, as you guys know, I did some very early work before there was a script, and we know it will happen. Well, we think it will happen eventually, but we don't have any news to break. And if we did, we'd all be getting sued anyway. So that's that answer. Okay, what would you do if you're stuck on a project and feel like there's too much to do, Matt?
You just go straight to your supervising art director and say, I've got too much going on. I don't think you go straight there. I think you try and cope with it for a bit, but you just have to be very, very open. And if you've to be honest, it's easier 5, 10, 15 years into your career, because you're a bit more sure of yourself, and you're okay to put your hand up. It's probably quite hard in the first couple of years to go to your supervising art director and say, I've got too much on. But I don't think I've ever been in that situation, Cole. Have you?
No, it'd have to be a hell of a lot. It'd have to be a massive amount of work, and I've not actually come across that as yet.
You have bad days, don't you? You have days when you are busy and you know the stuff you're handing in. Like, you just have to remember you've got this many hours in the day.
Yeah.
You know how much work you can do, and you can do more work at lower quality or less work at a higher quality. I know people have bad experiences, but I think it's rarer now than it used to be.
Yeah, I think, like, you're right. Like, I think everybody's got a pretty good idea of how much work somebody can realistically get done in a day. And I think if somebody's putting too much on you, then don't be afraid to just have a discussion and say, look, like, you know, can I have an extra day for this, or an extra 2 days, or whatever?
Yeah.
And just write it, like something I always do anyway, is just write a checklist of what I need to get done by a certain time. And sometimes you just need to put a line in the sand to make sure that you're not fiddling around too much on something. And the same goes for personal work. Like if you feel like there's too much to do, like take a step back, write a list, like what is of priority to get done. Like, you know, sometimes I can get lost in trying to resolve a whole space if it's for myself, and then I need to just take a step back and be like, wait a second, maybe I should just do a couple of views and just focus on those 2 views and work those up. And then if you get those done, then you can be like, all right, great, I achieved something. Now I can resolve the rest of the space or the rest of the design.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more question, and then I'll let you guys go. And I think we've covered most of them anyway. How do you foresee the art department changing in the future with Gen AI removing the technical need to render images to a high quality? Will sketches and ideas be the prioritized skill? I feel like that riffs off of something what we're saying, but we'll answer anyway. Cole, do you want to go first?
I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. It's too sporadic. It's too even the stuff I see that people have done, and sometimes you'll get reference sent through, and it just doesn't look right at all. There's just something about getting something real from the artists, I think, that will keep that wolf away from the door. I think as well, people are getting a bit sick and tired of it as well. Everyone's just like, you know, as soon as they find out that AI slop's being used in a production, you know, I've just seen this morning the huge kickoff with Steven Soderbergh because he's used 10 minutes of AI in his new film, and the place is just tearing him apart. You know, such an established director. And it's like in games, as soon as you find out in a game that that's being used, people are just not happy. They don't want to see it. So yeah, I don't think, and I hope it doesn't happen.
Matt?
When the leaders of AI can't predict where we're going to be in 4 years' time, like I have no idea what's going to happen. I hope that problem solving, sketching, that kind of work will become really valuable. I do agree with Cole. People are sick of it. My kids, who are 13 and 10, whenever they see anything on AI on TV, they're already turned off by it. You know, so because there's no authenticity to it. It's just not a real thing, and it's never been touched by a human hand. So I don't know. You mentioned earlier, Nick, how it feels like cheating when you use it and you feel a bit dirty. It's a really horrible feeling. And I am getting the odd bit of AI given to me on jobs, and the people giving it to me are really apologetic. And they're like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know what to do. I can't sketch, but I did this. Look at it, forget it. And I hope we haven't offended you. So people don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not... No one's made that first... Like Toy Story turned everyone on to CGI. No one's done that with AI yet, that people have managed to emotionally connect to the work.
I think too, though, like the general public's done a great job at creating a stigma around it. And like what you just said, Matt, with Toy Story and CG, like the thing is that we all forget that so much human effort goes into that. Am I back?
Yeah, you're dropping
I'm back.
off, mate.
Okay. All right. I'll go from the top. It says my internet connection's unstable, which sucks. But okay, what was I saying? I was talking about Toy Story, and the thing with the CG that goes into that is there's so many people that are behind that and put so much work into that thing. So there's an inherent value in that. There is value by people creating to put something in front of us. When it's one person in the basement creating, images ripped off of somebody else's thing, there is no value. So people are just going to get turned off. And to double down on that, like we were saying earlier, the film that I'm on at the moment is all like sketchy plans, sections, blocking things out, problem solving. And you have to remember a director as well has got a very clear idea in their head of a story. And they're coming to you to help visualize the specific moments of their story. And typing in a prompt at this stage anyway isn't going to do that justice. Like even if they do get a nice looking image, it will help inspire them most likely, but they're still going to need someone to, make this a real thing in a real space that is going to connect to another space, and certain story requirements are going to happen here and there. So you just need problem solvers at the end of the day. And, if it changes the beautiful renders, then that's just the end of it anyway. We don't, like you said, Matt, we don't do much of that anyway until the end of a job. It's a luxury to have.
You talked about the value of things there, Nick. And I think the other thing that art is and should be is brave. And to make a film, a director has to be really brave and command a crew, tell people what they want. There's nothing brave about one person typing in. There's no bravery in just prompt till you get there, because it's really boring. That's not making art. And I haven't seen any AI art that is brave yet.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Cole?
No, it's what Matt said there is 100%. I've not seen anything of all the things that it gets hammered everywhere on social media. I've not seen anything that's made me remotely say, this looks cool and this looks, inspiring. It's like those dead eyes on a shark when they roll back. It's just, there's nothing there. There's just nothing, It's
Hopefully,
just slop.
Hopefully it just stays that way. Look, do you got time for one quick question? It's the last one. I know I said the last one before, but I know we're all busy. Do either of you have any tips on improving your composition thumbnails? It's a bit hard to do that without a demonstration, but any tips on there?
Take photographs. Get a camera, take photographs. We've all got phones. Switch it into black and white if you can on your phone, and go around and take photographs.
And even jump on Shot Deck and just, subscribe to that and just look at some of your favorite films. Study some of those stills. Try and recreate them. Just paint them, block them out.
Definitely, yeah.
Anything to add, Matt? Or
Yeah, I have a couple of brushes, like composition brushes, in a cinematic ratio, like the rule of thirds, golden ratio, and I sometimes just stamp that over my image, just tweak, especially in thumbnails, just tweak a couple of things, just gets things sitting in those ratios, in a sweeter way. But I think with composition, you just drop detail and you just go for big gestures.
Yeah, and I think when you look at, that's a great point, because I think when you just look at some of your favorite stills from films, like they're actually quite simple anyway. You just need to look at them and why do they make you feel a certain way. Just look where the character's placed, look at where the building is placed, and where's the horizon line. Just look at those things and really just understand what you're learning. We got through them all, boys, so I really appreciate you guys getting on and getting through all those. That was pretty fun. I hope everybody got the answers they were after and can take something away from that. So, big thanks, fellas.
Super cool. We do that again. That was fun.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, boys.